Greetings everyone, this is Rambling Collector here, and welcome back for another book review. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the novel How to Not Suck as a Christian by Jeremy Steele. And if the title alone does not already intrigue you to learn more, then please feel free to stay tuned for more, because I can guarantee you, this one absolutely caught me by surprise, especially since I received this around Christmas Eve. But I was actually introduced to Jeremy by another author friend of mine. And in that regard, I cannot thank them enough for this because this book was extremely well written. But I think I've harped off enough on the title screen here. Let's get on with the video, shall we? So first is my overall thoughts here. And in my opinion, the author does a very good job of showcasing the many ways that Christians can improve, providing evidence from the Bible that counters many of the arguments far more radical Christians make, especially in regards to tithes and the LGBTQ community. But one thing I do appreciate is that the author also discusses their own faults, showing how they've had to de-radicalize themselves over the years, as well as how they've chosen to learn to improve themselves as a Christian overall. Jeremy's writing already feels very connecting in that regard, at least from what I would say. He provides the great lessons within this book, with the evidence to back up a lot of the claims that he makes throughout the chapters, such as how tithes, in a sense, the percentage that is always preached, does not actually exist within the Bible. And more importantly, a lot of the criticisms labeled LGBTQ, how it is sinful in many regards, he actually has combed through the Bible and has seen many times that what people believe applies to same-sex couples or things like that nature, that doesn't exist. What in actuality he is bringing up is the concept of cheating. And the way that he actually is able to clear the word in that regard is actually really well done, at least in my personal opinion. This goes to show that he has done the research, he's done his homework, so he can easily back up what he's talking about, which gives him a lot of credit in my eyes. But more than that, the writing feels relatable a lot of the times, especially when it comes to how a lot of times churches can feel very cult-like and very heavy when it comes to, in a sense, brainwashing. But it goes to show how at one point he was himself a victim as well as an enforcer of those radical views. But over the course of his life, he has grown as a person and as a person of faith. So overall, I'd say give this one a look just to see what this man is talking about. But let's continue, shall we? So, for the random thoughts segment here, this book in particular actually reminds me of another that I've read called Finding My Way Back. And one thing that I really do appreciate about both these works of literature is that they both talk about their experiences with the faith, as well as the many flaws within it. Just for example, look at how many different branches of Christianity there is in and of itself. There is regular Christianity, there is Mormonism, there is Catholicism, Protestant, Lutheran, Methodist, so many different branches of the same faith, yet all of them with their own unique practices and different ways that they preach the faith, which in my opinion is extremely confusing. If people worship the same deity, why is it that we are split up into multiple different factions within the same organization? Did something get lost along the way? Like, that is my own personal opinion. Like, did something actually get lost in translation or practice to where we are so divided like this in the faith? I'm genuinely curious because I myself do not know. Would I consider myself a very spiritual person? Yes. But I do feel like there are a lot of flaws within many religious organizations, but I don't think I need to tell you all that. We've seen it in practice time and time again, both in our normal society today, as well as various examples throughout history. But books like these, Finding My Way Back, as well as How Not to Suck as a Christian, both of these works provide a voice to be heard. Those who have at one point practiced the faith and have fallen out of it, or those who are looking to change how they practice their faith. But it does not dodge all the negative experiences that come from living in a religious society like this, because it can be very damaging to the individual as well as to many others as well. Especially with the more extreme practices. And these books, I feel, provide that voice for those who have been victims of religious trauma. And in my opinion, we need more works like this. It really would help to provide more of a voice out there for those who have experienced problems with the faith, but more importantly, show ways that the faith can be improved. But then again, that's just me harping here. That's just my personal opinion. I want to hear your all's thoughts on this. And granted, I do know that this can be a very uncomfortable topic, but I feel like just having an open conversation about it would lead to greater discussion, at least in my opinion. But I'll leave that up to you all to decide. But let's move on, shall we? Overall, my personal score for this book has to be a solid 10 out of 10. Great writing, great relatability, and more than anything else, it really does provide that interesting voice. But most of all, I absolutely love the title. I love book titles like this that just give it to you straight without any of the flowery languages. But again, if you all have any book suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, and I will get to them whenever I can. And if you did like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like what I do here, feel free to subscribe if you're curious for more. If you want to see more of the books that I've covered in this genre, that being nonfiction, I will leave a link to my nonfiction rambles playlist here at the end of the video, or if you just generally want to see some of the other books that I have covered, I will leave a link to that playlist as well. I really hope you all enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for listening to this crazy man's ramblings in the midst of this library. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day, fellow readers, and I will see you all in the next video.